We got some breaking news, champs. We have a double header, and as we all thought, Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney was supposed to take place in Las Vegas, but they recently changed the venue to Brooklyn and New York City. And also, according to reports and Showbiz The Adult, Tank Davis already has his next fight scheduled, and it will be against none other than Frank the Ghost Martin. And there also seems to be a race and competition between Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, and also Devin Haney and Frank Martin is just there for the ride. And they are all trying to see who sells the more pay-per-views and has the bigger gate between all four of them. And this is what we are going to be talking about next. But before we get into that, if you guys are not subscribed, please punch and knock out that subscription button. That way you'll never see it again. And ding the notification bell. That way you never miss any of my new boxing videos. Alright guys, let's get to the round. Ding ding. Okay champs, let's get started. Let's start with Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, as the whole boxing world thought that this fight was supposed to be taking place in Vegas, but they were kind of forced to move the fight to Brooklyn and New York City. And this is due to the fact that CANELO ALVAREZ next fight was going to be taking place on Cinco de Mayo. And CANELO ALVAREZ fight is also going to be taking place in Las Vegas. So according to boxing reporter Dan Rafael, he stated if you bring out one of the event around the same time as the other event, one event will cannibalize the other event's sales, meaning one event will most likely take away sales from the other event, especially since they both are going to be taking place in Las Vegas, or they were gonna be taking place in Las Vegas. So taking the fight to New York will save the gate problem, because it will be a whole different region of boxing market. But that just solves the gate problem. But I believe there will still be a pay-per-view problem. And I believe it would have been the same problem whether you kept the fight in Las Vegas or in New York City. But I believe the gate problem is a bigger problem to deal with than the pay-per-view problem, as it will get pretty expensive to go watch the fight live, especially a fight with that magnitude. I'm pretty sure the seats will be pretty expensive. And having two big magnitude fights in the same region will kind of drain that region's money. And I am sure most fans will have to decide which event to go, the Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney or CANELO versus whoever, as we currently don't know who CANELO is fighting next. But I'm sure it's not going to be Benavidez, because Benavidez just said that he was going to 175. So at least the pay-per-view problem is not as expensive as watching the fight live. And usually people watch the pay-per-view together and tell everybody to pitch in. That way it won't be so costly. And the difference, if you go to the event, you're going to have to pay for every single seat. But I believe both of these fights are premium events. And Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney is as big as the fight can get. And I don't think it's gonna be a smaller fight because they moved it to New York City. And even if you're not a big fan of Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney and you are a hardcore boxing fan, and a fight of this magnitude presents itself to your city, I'm pretty sure you will try to go. Like me, I am a fan of boxing and I don't really care who it is. As long as it's a big fight and I could drive there, I am pretty sure I will go. It just sucks for me because I was going to go to the Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia fight, but now I won't be able to. But I might go to the CANELO fight depending on who he fights, since I am from Southern California and I'm only 2 hours away driving from Las Vegas. I am not sure how much the tickets will vary from changing the event from Las Vegas to New York City. But I really don't think it will vary a lot. I think the prices will be almost the same. But I do know everything in Las Vegas is extremely overpriced, but New York is pretty pricey as well. And California is still cheaper than New York City. But I really think this fight would have been a lot bigger in California since both of them are from California. But that's neither here or there. I also heard that Ryan Garcia told Tank Davis that his fight with Devin Haney is going to make more pay-per-views and sell more at the gate than any fight that Tank will do. Yes, I believe that myself if Tank Davis just fights a jabroni. But we just got some breaking news from ESPN about Tank Davis' next opponent, and he will be fighting none other than Frank the Ghost Martin. Now this fight holds weight. Frank Martin ain't no joke, and he's undefeated. So I believe this fight will be able to compete with Ryan versus Devin Haney. But if he would have fought somebody like Rayo Valenzuela, I don't believe he would have done good. I think he would have sold another 200 to 300 pay-per-view buys. But he is fighting Frank the Ghost Martin, and I believe this fight will sell well. It will be the battle of the undefeateds, and it's going to be for Tank's championship belt. Also, I don't think Frank Martin really dug Shakur Stevenson. I really think they tried to lowball him. And I'm pretty sure Frank Martin knew if he would have kept on winning, he probably would have gotten more money in the future. But I also do know this is boxing, and there's always a risk of losing to somebody. After all, Frank Martin did take the fight with Tank Davis, so I'm sure he is not scared of Shakur Stevenson. But I do believe Frank Martin has a better chance of beating Tank Davis than he does beating Shakur Stevenson. I actually believe Frank Martin is a live dog in this fight, and he can beat Tank Davis. If he boxes well and does not get caught with any hard punches that can knock him out, I think he goes and beats some decision. But I am really glad that Tank Davis took this fight, because I was thinking that he would not even fight Frank Martin. I never really believed Tank Davis was scared. I just believe his team is scared, because they're already used to making a lot of money just fighting a jabroni and not risking anything. And we are finally gonna get the answers that we all have from Tank Davis. How does he do against an undefeated fighter that moves around a lot, that has good ring IQ, is a good boxer, and is also a southpaw? And as we all know, Frank Martin is not a big name yet, but he's not a little name either. I think in boxing skills, he is just one notch under Devin Haney and 2 notches under Shakur Stevenson. But he is the best fighter after them. I can't wait for this fight. And now we have another fighter to throw in the mix with all the great fighters. I want to see Frank Martin versus Tio, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan, and Tank. And everybody should fight each other 3 or 4 times as well. And I will be buying both of these pay-per-view fights. So whoever wins the race for the pay-per-view numbers, I really don't care. I am not Team Haney. I am not Team Garcia. I am not Team Tank. I am not Team Tio. I am Team Boxing. I could care less who wins or loses. I am a fan of throwback fighters though. Who do you guys think will win the pay-per-view race? Ryan Garcia or Tank Davis? If you guys like the show, like the video, share the video, subscribe, and that's it for me, champs. I gotta roll.
I shook up the world! I shook up the world! I shook up the world!